Hey, welcome back, guys. If you're like me, you're trying to decide who to second awaken next. I've kind of done the two that I thought were pretty obvious, the Beladion and the Ramahan, and I find myself wondering, okay, who should I second awaken next, or should I just start farming skill ups? And I feel like I need to second awaken something because there's so many good options. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few videos to go through each family one by one, talk about the skills, and kind of give you all the information that I'm considering to make my decision. So hopefully that'll be helpful to you. So today is Fairy Day. We're going to look at all 5 fairies, their pros, their cons, their skills, and hopefully this will be useful if you're considering second awakening a fairy. So first one here is Acelia, the fire fairy. Skill 1 is a 60% stun, goes up to 70% when it's skilled up, and it's 70% on the third skill only, I think I remember. So it's not 70, 70, 70, it's nothing, nothing, 70. So still really nice, but that's what that does. Second skill, two arrows that are random. 50% chance to stun. When skilled up, it's a 60% chance to stun. And if both arrows hit the same target, it's a guaranteed stun. Which I feel like I've read something that said it still has to pass some sort of check. So maybe that just goes from 60% to 100%. Still has to be checked. I'm not 100% sure on that. Third skill, this is the one that has everyone excited about possibly building Acelia. Shoots a flurry of arrows between 4 and 6 hits on all enemies. So on average, 5 hits on all enemies. Each attack has a 20% chance to remove a beneficial effect and reduce their attack speed for 2 turns. Pretty nice. Looking at the skill ups, it's 10% harmful effect rate twice. So each attack has a 40% chance to remove a beneficial effect and reduce their attack speed for 2 turns. That's huge, the 40%, right? The 20% is pretty good because if you on average hit 5 times, on average, if it's a 20% hit times 5, I mean, I'm not going to math it, but basically you're going to remove 1 buff on average. The chance of slowing speed is less because in theory, the buff you're removing is will. And, you know, as soon as you remove the will, then you start checking if you can slow. So if you remove the will on the first hit, you slow on the second hit, you're great. But if you remove the will on the 5th hit of 5, then you're not going to have a chance to remove the attack speed. Is how I interpret that. It may be an all-in-one. It may be if you remove the will, you also slow. I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but I don't know. If this was one that interests you, the harmful effect rate up, I think is pretty solid. Each attack has a 40% chance to remove a beneficial effect. In that case, you can maybe remove two buffs, right? You can do a Fran or a Woos or something like that. 40% is pretty solid. So I can see the appeal here. If you're interested in her, you want to try to skill up that third, I think. The only downside is looking at the stats. It's an attack type monster. So base HP and base defense pretty low for RTA or anything that you want to actually survive. So that's my only concern there. But I don't know that we have any fire AoE buff removers, and I don't think we have anything that is buff removal and slow. So that's kind of a nice little combo. So there's more information about her out there, but I think she's one of the ones that it might be worth awakening just because of that AoE buff removal, especially if you're still waiting for, you know, a Triton or something like that, one of the viable AoE buff removers. Something to consider. All right, Lucia. It's weird. I mean, they're the same model, but by going from all red to all blue, it looks almost like a slightly different model, but I don't think that's the case. So we're a support type, which is nice. Looking at the base speed, 102, she goes up to 104. Good HP. Defense still on the low side, but better than the red one. This is what makes her interesting, I think. Attacks enemy 3 times and freezes. It's like the Fire Griffin, or no, the Dark Griffin. It's a stun. It's a freeze. It's not quite as good as a stun. Or are they identical? I think they're basically identical. Freeze kind of can combo. No, I don't think so. So it's a freeze. The skill ups don't matter. It's just damage. Her second skill is Purify. Remove all harmful effects and increases the attack bar. Oh, that's kind of neat. It increases the target's attack bar by 25%. So it's a cleanse bar boost. The recovery amount is proportional to the attack power. Okay. And then the skill ups are attack bar recovery by 20. So increases the target attack bar by 40%. That's really interesting. Do we have anything like that? Raccoony is 100% bar, but it doesn't necessarily cleanse the same target. He'll cleanse passively whoever's low and then give bar to someone else. You could make it the same. So similar to Raccoony's skill, but you have more control. It comes with a bigger heal because the heal scales up twice to what? 30% heal? So it comes with a bigger heal. Interesting. I'm trying to think. Kind of Yanhong-ish a little bit, like a really, really bad Yanhong. Yanhong doesn't have the cleanse. Yanhong has the bar boost, but it's 100% times 2 because she gets it also. So it's 200% bar boost, whereas this one is 45% bar boost. So interesting. Scaling with attack power is weird, which I guess is why she has an okay amount of attack power for support. So I don't think you rely on the heal as much. It's more of like a single target bar boost cleanse. It's worth looking into more. That makes me think all sorts of things. I wonder what's going on there. All right, and then third skill is 2-turn sleep on an enemy. That's all it is to it. 2-turn sleep. So if you have a sleep type team with the dark succubus that we just got and Hathor, stuff like that, that could be good. But you're trading 1 turn of hers for 2 turns of the enemy, relies on a resist check, all that good stuff. And the leader skill is a 20% resist. So she's a toolsy control unit whose skill 1 is never wasted. She's trading 1 turn for 1 turn, 1 turn for 2 turns, and then helping get people's turns back with a little baby heal. So I think she's another viable option. I feel like maybe Beat D or someone like that has been playing with her. You know, if you have Beat D's runes, though, it doesn't matter who you put them on, really. But I think she's another viable option to second awaken. So that's a Lucia. All right, win one. Aileen. Support type. Let's look at her stats compared to a Lucia. So a little less HP, a little more attack. Everything else is the same. No leader skill here. Fire one also has no leader skill. This is the... Oh, this is interesting. 3 turns, stun 60%, and if it's immune to stun, full attack bar reset off of skill 1. Interesting. I mean, it's a 70% chance to full attack bar reset, so you're not going to be doing this into something like a fire monkey because it'll just get wrecked, but for like a Jaeger, it's immune to stun. A water lich is immune to stun. The problem is it has to be a monster that's innately immune to stun. It can't just be a monster that has immunity, because then the attack bar won't reset either, you know? It'll try to activate, but it won't succeed. So is there any other situation where you would be immune to stun, but not on will? I don't think so. So it's just a couple of units that this applies to, unless I'm just completely missing the boat here. Can't be stunned. Yeah, just a couple units, I think. So situational. I guess it's a hard counter to the water lich. I don't know if we needed that, but here it is. Maybe it works on bosses. That's something else I can think of. That would be kind of cool. A skill 1 full bar reset with a 70% chance on bosses, because they're immune to stun. So that'd be a PvE reason to possibly have her. Okay. So same thing as the blue one, except no bar boost included. So not as good, but still a little heal there. Inflicted damage is increased by 30% for each harmful effect on the enemy. So we've seen this kind of thing in several other monsters. Tessa, stuff like that. Crow. Shaolin, I think. I don't know that this is that useful for what you would build it for, because you have to invest in her to get this. I don't know that anyone's going to. Maybe it's for TOA bosses or something like that. I don't see a ton of use there, but maybe I'm missing something. All right, let's look at Neil. Neil has the 20% resist lead. This is the light fairy here. Good HP, not great defense. Let's look comparatively. Yeah, not great. It's kind of matching some of the lower defense monsters. Space speed, okay. Here's the stun, goes up to 70% chance. Remove all harmful effects on the ally and recovers the ally's HP by 20% of your max HP. So this is an improvement, and it scales up to 40% of your max HP? No, because it's multiplicative. So it's a 20% boost on 20%, so 24% of your max HP. So if you build her with 40k HP, it's a 10k heal. Single target with a cleanse. I mean, it's good for Neil because she's tanky, and it's not a bad heal. It's a flat heal, which can be good for defense monsters, but isn't great in RTA because your HP decreases, so the heal would decrease as well. So that's what's going on there. Here's the one that I think people are interested in. The remove all harmful effects makes it invincible and immunity for 2 turns. So, you know, you can see where this is going. This is combos with Molong, anything that causes self-harm. This is going to be good for immunity-based nukers, which I believe she is named Katarina. So that's kind of neat. She was already kind of used with Katarina in theory. I don't think... It's kind of like a single target Chloe, right? It's an invincible and immunity for 2 turns. Chloe's invincible was 1 turn only. So that's what's going on there. If you have any combo that you want to use her with, then I guess it's okay. All right, Sauron, the Dark Fairy, an attack type. You can see the base stats there, not super tanky. Here's our stun, just like normal. Double arrow, shoots 2 arrows to attack a target enemy and random. A target and a random. So that's kind of neat. You definitely get 1 target, and then the random is, you know, whatever you get. Removes a beneficial effect chance, or with an 80% chance, guaranteed to stun if they both hit the same target. So it's a removal, a guaranteed 1 beneficial removal chance, so you get to roll it basically, against your target and then 1 other target. So single target buff removal, scales up to 100% chance when you scale her up. And then this one inflicts damage on the enemy, increases the enemy's chance of dealing a glancing hit and silencing for 3 turns each. 3-turn debuffs are fairly rare. A 3-turn single target silence, I think, is pretty niche. I don't know that there's a lot of spots that is, you know, exactly what you need to bring to the fight, especially on an attack type monster. So let's review the fairies. Just from talking through the skills and kind of focusing on what they each do, I don't really see a need to second awaken dark, wind, or even light. Light would be sort of a niche if you have that one little spot that you need, but I'm not really feeling it. So I think out of those 3, light might be the one I would be interested in the most, but I'm not really interested in either of those 3 for a while. There's a lot more things I want to second awaken. Out of the fire and the water, I'd say they're fairly similar in desirability to second awaken. It depends on what you want to do. They're both PvP monsters, so if you're not interested in PvP, I would say probably hard pass on both of them. But I think these are both viable candidates for different reasons. This is a non-stop control monster. I think where I would use this in PvP is when I really needed water control. It kind of has to be water. Like, she can't just be used everywhere. Like, she's not, oh, I control everything all the time. It has to be something where water is important. Maybe where the heal and a little bit of turn cycling, the cleanse is important, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's her use. And then fire, I think similarly, if you need a AoE buff remover who is fire, she might have a role. If you want to do that like Tyrone combo where the slow is also super important because you can turn the slow into a loss of bar, that might be useful, but I think that combo is maybe not viable in RTA high end because there's so many other combos that probably are a little bit better. So if you're considering the fairies, I hope this kind of breakdown of the elements was helpful. We talked about the skills. I'll put bookmarks to each fairy in the description down here so you can decide, you know, oh, I don't care about the fire one, I just want to look at the light one. So anyway, that's the fairies. We're going to move on to another monster class in the next video. I hope it was helpful for y'all, and take care, everybody.